thought that there was an easy way to make money. And just like any other easy way to make money, it's always too good to be true.
Who told you you were in trouble?
My parents got a phone call saying that there was a warrant for my arrest, which was scary and shameful. I felt like my world was going to come crashing down.
Até ter sido detido em setembro, Sam Ashagoff parecia o jovem perfeito. Na escola secundária Great Neck North, em Nova York, era um dos melhores alunos, vice-presidente do clube de empreendedorismo e grande esportista. Mas talvez o seu maior talento foi aquele que lhe trouxe mais problemas, a sua capacidade de obter elevados resultados em exames. Foi assim que começou a sua vida dupla de fraude.
I would call him an academic gun for hire. That's what he was.
People just needed him to get a job done, and he got it done.
And he was the man.
A procuradora de Nassau County, Kathleen Rice, acusou Ashagoff e os alunos que o contrataram.
This was a huge fraud from my perspective. This was lots of money exchanging hands. There were high stakes involved. And there was forgery, there was criminal impersonation. That's a fraud. It's a fraud on many different levels. But most importantly, against the kids who play by the rules.
During the course of the investigation, what did you discover about the process of taking the SAT and the security associated with taking an SAT test?
How incredibly easy it is to cheat the system. There is absolutely no security in place whatsoever to prevent criminal impersonation like we see here from happening.
So if I went up to any one of those kids and I say, do you know what this guy did? They'd all know.
Every single person would know who I am and what I do.
Ashagoff afirma que pagar a alguém para ir fazer o exame era um segredo partilhado pelos alunos de Great Neck North. Ele tornou-se o mais conhecido, mas diz não ter sido o primeiro.
I had heard of it happening successfully in my own high school.
So tell me about taking the mental leap from, well, I heard other kids are doing it, to, I think I'm going to do this.
Well, it all started with some kid approaching me, and he's like, yo, you're good on your SATs, and I'm not. And you know this is possible, so how much is it going to take?
Para o fazer, bastou falsificar um cartão de estudante, uma das 6 formas de identificação aceites nos centros de exames SAT, as provas de acesso ao ensino superior.
A school ID is what is that? It's some colors with literally a name and a picture on it. So what I would do is I took the template for my high school ID, pasted my picture on top of it, and whatever person's name whose test I was taking, I would have their name and date of birth on it. And it was really as easy as that.
No social security number, no driver's license, no passport.
Name and date of birth.
On a little piece of plastic.
On a little piece of plastic that got laminated once.
Com o documento falso na mão e bastante nervoso, Ashagoff iniciou a sua carreira lucrativa.
As soon as I took that first test and I went in and I killed it. Like, I got my first time ever taking the test for somebody else, I got a perfect score in the math section. It was like, whoa, that was easy, and that was great, and I'm good at this.
A partir daí tornou-se rotina. Ao longo de quase 3 anos fez várias vezes os exames, obtendo consistentemente resultados acima dos 97% para os alunos a quem chama seus clientes.
I mean, my track record speaks for itself. Like, if you know somebody's so stellar at doing something so flawlessly, without one exception, it goes without saying that's a reliable service.
Were you invested at all in the score you would get?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Just like any other business person, like, you want to have a good track record, right? And essentially, like, my whole clientele were based on word of mouth and, like, a referral system. So as soon as I saved one kid's life.
Saving his life?
Saving his life.
What do you mean by saving his life?
I mean a kid who has a horrible grade point average, who no matter how much he studies is going to totally bomb this test. By giving him an amazing score, I totally give him a new lease on life. He's going to go to a totally new college. He's going to be bound for a totally new career and a totally new path in life.
But isn't he going to take the place of someone who may have actually worked for it and deserve that position?
You know, I hear that, but I don't care for a complaint like that. That one kid that I helped get into whatever school, he really wasn't displacing anybody.
You sound like you want to defend their right to be in these schools?
I don't have to defend them, but I feel confident defending the fact that them getting into the schools that they ended up getting into didn't really affect other people.
But it's possible.
It's possible.
Se isto parece escandaloso, é porque os seus resultados elevados e o dinheiro dos clientes sobrepuseram-se à moral. No auge do seu negócio, Eshagov cobrava $2.500 por prova. Um cliente muito satisfeito deu-lhe uma gorjeta de $1.100.
A lot of times I would actually even induce a bidding war between two potential clients, have them like fight against each other for who was going to pay me more.
Não parou depois de ir para a universidade. Limitou-se a acrescentar o custo do bilhete de avião ao valor cobrado.
The big question for me comes back to, where are kids getting this money to give you? Because we're talking about thousands of dollars. And then if you add airfare,
Yeah.
do you know where they were getting the money?
I mean, I can't imagine that like a high school kid would be able to get this kind of money on his own, like from working or something. I don't know. Maybe it came from their parents. I mean, I wasn't really going to ask them, okay, so where are you getting the money from? But come on, let's put two and two together.
I've read this, but I want to hear it from you.
Mm-hmm.
You took the SAT for girls.
Correct.
How do you take the SAT for girls?
Like, if the girl has a foreign name, that could be perceived as unisex. Like, a girl could be named Alex, but if she needs me to go and take her SATs under the name Alex, whatever, it's easy as that.
Did you ever take the SAT twice in one weekend?
Yeah, I have done that.
Eshagov tirou partido das facilidades oferecidas pelo serviço de testes para tornar o exame acessível a todos.
Accessible to everyone. That's why a high school ID is an acceptable form of identification. Also, students can take the test at any of the 6,000 testing centers nationwide. So Eshagov would choose centers where he knew he wouldn't be recognized. Describe the security for me when you as a student show up to take your SAT.
When I go to take the SAT, it's as easy as going in, keeping your head down, giving that proctor the flash of the ID, which is all they need. They just need to match the name on the ID to the name on their roster. And then it's find your seat, don't make noise, don't cause trouble, do what you got to do and get out.
Who were the proctors? Do you know who the proctors were at these tests?
I realized that the proctors were just like junior faculty members and like cafeteria aides and like staff that really had no business proctoring a test.
So you didn't feel like you had to go past a security gauntlet?
Oh, not at all. I mean, no security gauntlet. I mean, how hard would it be to trick a cafeteria aide into letting you sit in that seat?
Is it easy to cheat on the SAT?
No, I don't believe it is.
Kurt Landgraf é o presidente do serviço de testes que administra a prova para o Conselho do Ensino Superior e é responsável pela segurança na aplicação das provas SAT.
This is not a common occurrence.
How many impersonations did ETS discover last year?
About 150.
But in reality, that's the 150 you know about. That doesn't mean there were only 150 impersonations.
Absolutely.
Landgraf diz que, segundo os dados de que dispõe dos 3 milhões de alunos que fazem os exames todos os anos, mais de 99% falam honestamente. A organização gasta $11 milhões anualmente com a segurança das provas.
Do you know how many times Sam Eshagov took the SAT?
Actually, I don't.
16 times. Does that surprise you?
No.
That he was able to get by your proctor 16 times?
Well, if he had an ID with his picture on it, and he had and a name, and the registration document had that name on it, he could get in. Sure. No, it does. Unfortunately, it doesn't surprise me.
Does it concern you about the integrity of your test if one teenage kid can do that 16 times? And that's all that we know about from him alone.
Yeah. So the integrity of the test, the validity of the test score, is the primary concern of ETS and the College Board, since I believe that almost all the students take the test honestly, with integrity, and the score is valid. It's very important that we not overreact to this case or any future cases and do things that would be onerous and detrimental to the actual long-term security or access for the administration.
Sam Eshikoff is a smart kid, but you don't have to be a brainiac to cheat the system the way it exists at this present time. There's absolutely no security procedure in place. Any review is done after the fact, which prevents any level of accountability once cheaters are caught, and that system has to change.
We now know that the security vulnerabilities we exposed in September are a systemic problem.
Desde a detenção de Eshikoff, a investigação foi alargada. Mais de 50 alunos foram implicados naquilo a que a procuradora Rice chama uma operação de fraude bem gerida em 4 condados do estado de Nova York. Rice diz ter descoberto a existência de um sistema sofisticado de intermediários que encontram pessoas para fazerem um exame de acordo com o valor oferecido.
We know that there are students who met with someone who acted as a middleman, who said, tell me what you want, tell me what you need, how much money do you have? Okay, I'll set up the test taker and they'll take the test for you. I mean, this is big business, and it didn't just start in 2011. This has been going on. This criminal impersonation has been going on for years, I mean, decades, all across this country.
Sam Eshikoff foi apanhado quando vários clientes seus, alunos com resultados invulgarmente elevados, foram interrogados e acabaram por confessar. Há 6 semanas, os advogados de Eshikoff aceitaram um acordo que inclui serviço comunitário, explicações a alunos desfavorecidos para os preparar para as provas SAT.
Was there ever a point when you were taking these tests that you had a conversation with yourself that went like this? Sam, I know I'm doing the wrong thing. I'm lying here. This is not right. I gotta stop this. Did you ever have that conversation with yourself?
Yeah, I did. It was tough. I knew I was doing the wrong thing. I fully acknowledged that this is the wrong move, and I gotta stop this. But I guess I was low on cash, and I just told myself one last time, one last time, one last time.
You feel bad about what you did?
If I could start over, I never would have done it.
Eshikoff voltou à universidade. Quanto aos alunos que ele ajudou a entrar na faculdade, as respectivas universidades nunca serão informadas acerca do que eles fizeram. Faz parte da política do serviço de testes não informar as universidades dos casos de suspeita de fraude ou fraude confirmada.
We know that there are kids in college right now who got where they are because of tests that someone else took, and there's nothing that we can do about it. If that doesn't tell you that the system has to change, I don't know what does.